Okay, and GANN the man, we have a quick look at GANN's work and why I think he was the man, but also I need to point out a few things that GANN did that I don't necessarily agree with. I don't profess to be a GANN expert, but I believe that if you consider some of the actions that he took and some of the products that he was working on, there was valid reasons for him, and he was looking for easier ways to read the market as well. If you've ever read through GANN's trading campaigns, he will just simply write for a year and a half or a year and 3/4 worth of trading, where he bought here, sold there, took a profit, sold there, took a loss, stop and reverse, went in the opposite direction, bought here, sold, whatever he's doing. He just continually writes about the trades, and these campaigns always coincide with higher volatility of market activity. They always coincide with the period after the market crash, or the leading up to the market crash, or into the early 1900s. He writes about a campaign of a year and a half, just where he buys and sells, stops and reverse. Doesn't say why. Oh, he says he trades at the 50% line, but he doesn't talk about exactly how or why he's trading. But the key part about this is that when you read other books that he has printed throughout his time, and he is working on things like points charts and range bars, he is working on times of when the market is not as volatile, and he is trying to create something other than an end of day bar to help him read the market when the market is not active. So you will read that at the end of that campaign that his account balance has gone up to $1.5 million, and then 15 years later he will start writing about the campaign that he's conducted through a volatile time, and the account balance will be $3 million. So I don't doubt that the man has continued to trade, but when you read individual books in amongst that time period, he is working on swing point charts and range bar charts and all different products, which is basically what I'm saying about we have charts to suit your trading style and market conditions. If you look at the global financial crisis, an end of day chart was almost too small. The market was that active. But when in normal times, an end of day chart, you get 5 or 6 days up, you don't get enough action to read an entry and an exit. Now, if you ever heard or read about GANN squaring time and price, exactly what we are doing here with volume is squaring volume and price. We have a range, we square it, we make a prediction. That is exactly the same as GANN squaring time and price. Now, with GANN's predictions and his time predictions and price predictions, he would extend his predictions to 125, 150, 200, and had a whole series of mathematical numbers that he would extend his predictions into the future with, and they would simply just be the time extension across the bottom and the price extension going up this way. Obviously he didn't have a roadmap printed on a chart. A lot of his work wasn't done on the actual chart. Now, these are the parts of GANN's work that I don't necessarily agree with and think that they have any real bearing on how you trade now with the price activity that's occurring right in front of you. GANN did a lot of work on making multiple predictions and would get excited if you had a prediction like this one expiring here, and then a prediction from a different time frame expiring here or in this general vicinity, and so on and so on. So if he could get back and maybe work over a 5 or 7 year cycle and predict that a high or a low was going to be made here, everyone would get very excited about that. I actually believe that you have to trade the chart now, and you need to know exactly what to do now, and you need to know where we are now. Granted, if you had a multiple prediction expiring at this point and this leg failed to achieve, well, then you have the price activity now confirming that the price is failing. That is more of an important piece of information to me, and then knowing about what might happen in 5 or 6 years time. We need to know what this leg's doing, what we achieve in this leg, and then where the next leg is and the entry of the next leg's strength, and just work a leg at a time and read the charts. The other part about GANN's work that I don't necessarily support 100% is that he did a lot of work on squaring the chart. So he actually went to a lot of trouble to make sure the chart was 1 by 1, so that then he was looking for his angles created on a chart. They could be 45 degrees or whatever the angles he were looking for. So he had price and time equal, so that the chart was square. Then he would look for price activity to fit the chart, and then he would draw his trend lines on his charts and do all those types of things. So what I'm saying is that our chart is just made around the range, and we square the range. We don't square the chart, we square the price activity. I just want to reiterate this point. We build our charts around the actual price activity, and particularly the horizontal space, whether it's a volume chart or an equivolume chart. Time on the bottom is not fixed. It is allotted as per when the market actually trades. So if the market's active, time here spreads out. If the market's inactive, time condenses. So when we're producing our squaring of the market, our horizontal space is 100% accurate. Those couple of claims will probably get a few GAN enthusiasts excited, but that's what I believe. Don't get me wrong, GAN is the man, and if we could all trade as well as GAN and do the amount of work and have the discipline that he had, taking into account he did employ a whole team of people to do his charts for him, but we have computers nowadays, we'd be a hell of a lot better off. But it's just a couple of points that I don't necessarily agree with how he interprets some of the market activity that he works on. If you get the chance to read GAN's 45 Years in Wall Street and read his rules on trading, that'll go a long way to help you in your trading career and doing the basics and the simple things that you need to do.